Everybody, how y'all
Hey
doing?
everybody.
What's going on? Lead Farmer 73 and Lady Led are here today. And fellas, I want to know, is your honey fake?
If you buying it from the store, it probably is.
You switched that up real quick, did you? If you buying your honey from the store, it's probably fake. And no, I'm not talking about your lady. I am talking about your actual honey that you purchase from the store. Real honey. Now we all know that this world has took a turn for the worse. With that being, everything just about that we purchase, we need to question and see if it's real or not. How you doing, Garden Love? How you doing, everybody? Hey,
Hey
Garden Love.
Garden
There's you.
Love.
I'm like,
Hey
yeah,
fam.
what's going on, Freckled and
Hey
Frugal?
y'all.
How
Hey
you
V
doing,
and
little sister?
C.
Good to
Hey
see y'all.
Samuel.
So we were um we were letting you know that if you're purchasing honey out of the store, I'm going to tell you, and you do not have to believe us, but if you're purchasing a lot of these honeys out of stores and out of certain farmers markets, even, yes, even certain farmers markets, it is not real. Guava, Garden Love.
Guava. Look.
Guava. Guava with the
Guava.
honey.
Cheers.
Cheers to
Cheers.
Garden Love. Oh,
Yes.
Garden Love, I got so much to show you to it.
Hey broke farmer in the house.
Broke in the house. What's going on? So, um, here's the deal. If you are purchasing honey out of the store, it's probably fructose corn syrup.
Well, it's probably got a little honey in it.
It is legal. Right.
But
It is legal. It is legal to add a little bit of honey, and then the rest is fructose corn syrup, and they can legally classify that as honey. Now, it is illegal to transport that, I'm not going to name the country, directly from that country to the US, but they have a loophole where they will ship their honey to another country, and that country will ship it by the 55-gallon drums, thousands of them, to the US, making it legal. So they found a loophole to actually be able to import fake honey. There's a reason why all honey tastes just alike, no matter what grocery store you purchase it from. It always tastes exactly the same. It has always tasted exactly the same for most of your life.
and that's crazy because if you've ever had some real honey,
Hey, Callie Homestead, my Pooh
hey
Bear.
Callie Homestead
Hey,
and
Happy
Happy
Mac.
Mac, hey y'all. But if you've ever tasted some real honey, they all taste different, and all of them aren't sweet. Some of them have different flavors. I've had
Savory.
some oniony, garlicky flavored honey.
Hmm.
Probably wouldn't want that, in
I
your
do.
tea.
No,
Maybe in some barbecue sauce or
barbecue
something.
sauce.
But yeah, like it's sad to say, but they just don't have the manpower to regulate what's coming in.
Right.
I can't remember what was that. We was watching some documentary. She was talking about all the different foods that they add other stuff to it
Right.
and charge basically just
More,
as
the
much or
same or
more.
more, for something it's not even that. Like guacamole, from avocados, all this stuff is fake. So,
Olive oil, and
olive
they
oil,
add other
right?
oils to it,
Vegetable
and they
oils.
say 100%. That's the problem, because it can still say 100%, which 100% means nothing else is in it,
No,
right?
no. Again, like I tell y'all, I hate a play on words. They are correct, and this is what they said in that documentary. Thank you, honey. Thank you.
What they
I want
say?
to come in that documentary. What they said is it really is 100% vegetable oil, or listen, 100% honey. The little portion that they put into the fake stuff is 100% honey or 100% vegetable oil. So that's where they get you. They don't say 100% of this bottle or 100% of this content is 100% honey. So the honey that they added into this bottle was 100%. So they play on words and legally loophole the system. And they're able to put that on the label that this is 100% of the product that we're stating, because they're right. What that 5 or 10% of the real stuff they put in there, yes, they put 5 or 10% of the olive oil in there and filter the rest with God only know what. Okay, so with all that being said, if who's all interested in
Having real honey with
real honey,
no, I wonder what's in that.
the real stuff,
Like, for a fact, it's not because somebody told you it's 100%. It's not because you went to the farmer's market and they got this label that says 100%.
somebody's right. Somebody said, "What's the name of the documentary?" It's on Netflix right now.
It's something,
It's something
about
about
dang, is it
something about foods where, God,
fake foods or
I'm going to put it up on the community post so
yeah,
we all know the documentary that we're talking
yeah,
about. And there is another documentary that's called More Than Honey. If you go to that documentary
yeah.
about beekeeping and honeys and
Is it called one called Rotten too?
rotten, that's
Is that it?
that's the one we've been
Is
watching.
that it? It seemed like it's another one though.
The one on no rotten is
Oh,
all the
it
different ones.
is.
That's
Yeah, that's one of
the
them.
show on Netflix called Rotten is the one that's telling you about all of these products that are not real and how they get away with it. How
See.
can you tell if it's real honey? If you raise the bees yourself and extract the honey yourself.
Yeah, like Sarah's Happy Hive. She know about it.
Right, Sarah.
That's what we talking about. She know. She went in there, maintained these bees, and took it out herself.
Right. So the only way you know that your products, anything you purchase, is real is if you grow it yourself. That's where my whole motto came from. Grow your own, eat
Yes.
your own. That's the only way that you know that you're getting the real deal.
Yes.
Okay?
Be the Gift got it.
Right.
Be the Gift says honey from your own hive is the best.
It's the best. There is no taste like it. And here's the other thing. It's different every single time, every season, several times a season, every harvest. I'm gonna put it that way. Every harvest, your honey tastes different. So if you run into a harvest that is just unbelievable, don't eat it all up because you may never
Yeah.
get that ever again.
Yeah, we've got some favorites.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
What
When
is
you
what's
get
the
down to
what's
the
the
last
date on
jar,
that one?
528 honey.
I knew she would know the date.
528.
That 528, that's the date that we withdrew it. The 528 is the best honey we've probably ever had, besides it's this one when we first started keeping bees. I still have a couple of jars of that.
That
but
wasn't my favorite.
it was
though.
my
The
favorite.
528 is mine.
I will not eat it. 528 is that's her thing
The
right there.
630 is a second.
630 was good.
It's a second.
630 was good. So all of the beekeepers in here understand exactly what we're talking about when we name the honey of that season or that harvest by its date. So the 630 and the 528,
The best.
the best, hands
Yes.
down, hands down.
Read that one.
Took the leads. Okay, Be the Gift said took the leads first bee class, haven't looked back since.
Yes, that's what we talk about right there.
So how much did it cost you
Yes.
to start a hive? Well, that's what we're going to be talking about in our bee class that we're holding coming up. we're about to hold another. Every year we hold several beekeeping classes. We've been doing this for a long time, and we've started offering beekeeping classes in the last what, 3 years?
This is the third
Third year.
third round.
Third year.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of people that have been accomplished beekeepers, all from listening to us ramble on and giving you nothing but facts.
Hmm.
Nothing but facts. Not no ands, ifs, buts, or maybes. I'm talking about pure 100% experience. We're not speaking from something that we heard. We're not speaking from
Hmm.
something that we don't know.
Yeah.
We're
We
not.
we've made our mistakes. We've learned from those, so we'll be sharing all of that. Now, let's not get it mixed up. We're not certifying beekeepers. We're simply teaching you how to do it successfully.
And to become
Yeah, and we
certified.
give you the details on how to go about becoming certified and all of that. So yeah,
Hey,
and be the
triple
gift
threat.
if you want to share, your greatest takeaway or whatever, that'd be awesome.
Right, because
That'd be
we
awesome.
love past the mic testimonials. Love it.
Yes.
Learning to grow my own. How you doing, brothers? Good to see you in here.
Hey, triple threat,
Yeah,
firearms
triple
in the
threat in here.
house.
Let me see.
Yes.
Question: how much space is needed to have bees? I have a quarter of an acre lot.
You got
Okay,
enough.
that's a perfect
That
perfect
is.
question for right now, because right behind us, in front of my garage, with my Harley Davidson in it, that I bring in and out constantly, and bring my groceries in and out constantly, where we have packages delivered constantly. That is an active beehive right now.
Hmm.
So I'm going to zoom in on that. We're only 10 feet away from
Hmm.
this hive. So
And they
watch
have
this.
overwintered. So they made it through the coldest, craziest days. Just turn it to the,
I didn't
yeah,
want
there
to.
you go.
This is a fully active hive behind us. We're only 10 feet away from this hive.
Hmm.
So this how much room you need. You don't need any. Now let's be specific here to let you know exactly how much space you do or do not need. Not only is this hive 2 feet away from my garage door that I go in and out of constantly all day and all night, but it's also right here behind my trailer.
Hmm.
So it's in a space this
Hmm.
small. Frankly, usually it's in a space the size of this brick wall right there. Is usually sitting over on that side though. But that's how much space you need. You don't need acreage. You don't need that. People keep thinking you can't have bees unless you have acreage. Now, let me clarify that. If you are becoming a major beekeeper and you want to have 10, 12, 20 hives, of course you need space.
Yeah.
Okay.
You need space so that they don't have too much competition with themselves. So it's not just about, you know,
Garden Love, is this the wild swarm that came out of nowhere? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I don't know why, but right here, the bees always do the best and they always produce massive amounts of honey.
hmm
Every season, every harvest, they always produce. We don't know what it is about being right here, but I always keep a hive somewhere close in this vicinity. Hope to catch my first swarm this year. We also teach you how to catch swarms. So if you don't really want to purchase a package of bees, we can show you how to catch a swarm. I have
hmm
videos that I'll release. I have some already, but I have some new ones to release to show you that.
hmm
We got some more questions here.
Yeah, let me get this one about
Okay.
a certification. So, certification just is simply like you don't have to have a certification to keep bees. But the benefits of being certified is if you want to sell your honey, you can put it sold by a certified beekeeper. Also, you can move up the ladder and become a journeyman beekeeper, and you can teach other beekeepers about beekeeping. So it's not necessary unless you're planning on doing some other things with it.
Okay. Motivated to Homestead says, "Do you sell queens? If no, where do you suggest we purchase one?" You can purchase them online. We don't sell queens
Yeah,
anymore.
purchase them from look for your a local beekeeper, a local beekeeping company near you first. I know Tractor Supply is starting to sell, at least they're selling nukes.
Right.
So but I would start locally and then I'd look at other places and see if they'll ship. But they usually do ship them. FedEx, couple days.
Right.
Um
And Angie says, "Did your dark bees come back?" I don't know. I don't. Those are very dark, but I don't. I'm not sure. They're not as dark as the
yeah, they're not
darkest,
as dark as the darkest
but they also
ones.
might be mix and
And
breed
then I
you.
was about to say, you'll have a set of dark bees in the same hive that you'll have regular bees. It just depends on which drones the queen mated with, and sometimes those eggs run out.
Yeah. North Carolina Gardner says, "Hello, ordered honeybees last month. I'm expecting them in March. I'm very excited."
Yes,
That's
yes,
the only way to get started. That's the only way to get started. Lady Led just posted the post that says, "If you're interested in learning
here I'll
about
do it again.
okay, learning about how to become a beekeeper, please join us for our next S.O.Bees beekeeping class." This is our website address to sign up for the next coming class. Okay.
And let me talk briefly about this one because this one we're doing a little different. We were doing a beginners and an advanced session, and this time we're combining it. So now it's just one accelerated 4-week course that's going to start March 8th, and it's live. We're going to be meeting via Zoom.
Yes.
So you'll have a chance to learn what you're going to learn. You'll have a goodness.
The gnats getting you, honey.
You have a chance to answer questions live. So it's not like, unless you decide you want to get the replay from last time, this will be a live session.
Okay, and it says, with that setup that you have, how much honey can you get per year? You don't
It's hard to
right,
predict
you can't
because
predict that.
it
Them
depends on the honey flow. It depends on not just them, but what's blooming, when it's blooming, and whether or not they can access it.
and how
And
much
whether or not
of it
it's
it
enough
is.
space in their hive, it just depends. So you can never predict.
It
But
depends on you,
yeah.
them, and the season and the blooming.
Oh, I
So,
like you can do it too. This is set up for anybody anywhere, but we tell you how to find out about your local regulations. You can be anywhere in the country because we're going to meet through Zoom. Um, the class starts at 7 o'clock in the evening, so I think you're 2 hours behind us if you're in Arizona. But you can be anywhere, and we'll show you how to get going where you are.
okay, another question. Would that hive be a good pollination for my quarter of an acre? Yes, it would, but you cannot
You
control what the
cannot.
bees do. Okay, your bees might just go to your neighbor's land or your neighbor's yard.
They're gonna go wherever they can
What
find the most nectar with the least amount of effort.
Put it like this: trying to control them is like trying to control you, right? If you know that there's a good sale on eggs at Publix grocery store, you're not going to go to Kroger's. You're going to go a little bit farther to go to Publix to know you're going to save $2 on eggs. That's bees. If they got something that they really need and it's going to save them energy, that's their money. They're going to go all the way over there to get that pollen and get that nectar over there. You can't predict or control
Yeah, but that
what they
doesn't
do.
mean they'll skip over you. It just means you won't necessarily see them in the, you might be like, why don't I see them over here?
Right.
They move fast, they're efficient. And I see you can do it too, says she's in the city. Here's what I'll say. Just do a search for your city about beekeeping regulations. You should be able to still beekeep in the city. But again, it's different everywhere, so you'll have to find out about your city.
Right.
But it shouldn't matter. We're in a city.
Let me see. Freckled and Frugal says, Lead Farmer 73, do you have a link for your bee suits, especially Lady Led's? I will drop those links after this video. the ladies to keep coming out with their little pink bee suits, and the fellas, I done seen a couple of camouflage beekeeping suits. You know, that's how we get down. So I love it. So I'll drop those links for you, little sister. Let me go back up. See, I thought I saw something else. About to feed my bees some syrup. What is something natural I can feed them? You can always, you never use all of their honey. The reason we have tons of honey, we can't sell it. People ask us, do we sell it? We don't sell it anymore because we need to feed this back to them if they need it. I don't necessarily like giving them sugar water. You know, sugar syrup is nothing more than cane sugar or brown sugar and water. I don't like doing that. It does two things. Number one, it makes the honey taste fake. Number two,
Yeah.
we can tell when we've been feeding them sugar. Okay, we can tell in that harvest like this must be when we was feeding them. Number two, when you feed your bees, whether externally of the hive or internally, excuse me, it promotes robbing. So another wild hive from somewhere else or another one of your very own hives, they will smell that sugar water and they will come and attack. And once robbing has started, it's almost impossible to stop until almost every bee in your hive is destroyed.
I see Sandy Crabtree has a question. The class for the 4-week live session is 150.
Let's see.
And Harmony Home and Garden sounds like you're good to go. I'm glad you went and did some research. That's awesome.
Thank you, Harmony Home said. I just Googled it in her area in Dallas. She will need a $50 permit for 5 hives or more. So I'm good to go. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Hey, little fella.
Hey,
Let me see.
you had a good day?
We live. We live.
Yeah, we're live.
Okay, let me
Gotta
get back
give
in
him
here.
some love.
Okay, Be the Gift says I had a week hive robbed last summer. I had several. I had several hives that was destroyed by wild hives. Say salute to you and your channels and your guests. Thank you so much for that, my friend. Let me
Thank
see.
you, Coco Boo. She said we got nice skin.
That's just her. That's
You
just her.
do too. She said
No,
both.
that's just her.
She
And
said
this,
both.
I take the compliment.
She said both,
I
buddy.
take the compliment. Thank you. I'm working on it.
Oh, B. Jones says I'm itching to start splitting my hives. I know
That's
that
what
feeling.
I'm because we know
Yeah.
we know that one is going
Yes.
off so much. That's next. We know that we gonna have to split this and soon because all winter with this horrible up and down winter we've had, we lost some hives, but this hive has never ever stopped. It's almost like they weren't affected by the cold, they weren't affected by the heat, they just been cranking it out. I don't know what makes them different, but this batch here, they're different. So I know as productive as they are, we're definitely going to have to split this hive. Okay, where can I look for properties such as yours as recommendations? I don't understand your question. Properties. Uh, okay, Garden Love says, do you split your hives? And if you do you lose on harvest? When you split your hives, usually you will lose on harvest. But if you don't split your hive, you will lose your harvest.
Yeah,
Be-
it's a dance
Right.
because what could really happen if you don't split is half of them can take honey with them and swarm away.
And you won't have anything.
So they're gonna
Bees
take
or
half
honey.
anyway. Now, sometimes when you split, if you split too soon and it's not enough of them to recover, honey production can be slowed. But to me, that's still the better bet
Yeah.
than letting them swarm.
Crafty Mom. Hey, Crafty Mom. She says,
Hey, Crafty Mom.
do you have to own a homestead to order and raise bees. Absolutely not.
No, but
No.
you will want to find out what the regulations are for your local
And she's
community.
down in Florida. I don't think
Yeah,
they
but
care. I really don't
most
think they
states
care.
it doesn't matter.
I gotta take that out of there, Uncle Sam. Let me see.
Hey Ava,
Okay. So we're gonna be starting a class when?
it starts Wednesday, March 8th. We'll meet every Wednesday for the month of March, I believe. Four Wednesdays in March, we'll meet and talk about bees.
Yes.
That gets me excited.
Oh, what? That's her thing. What frames do y'all use? When you say what frames do you mean? Do you mean wood or plastic? If that's what you mean by I use wood. I've tried to use plastic and I have failed every single
The
time.
the bees don't really like the plastic. It's not the frame, it's the foundation. They don't like the plastic foundation. Even when it's waxed, we still like they will build all around it.
They do
Every now
weird
and
stuff.
then you might get one half. But yeah, they don't I don't know why they don't like it. Maybe because they know it's not real,
Neek, what kind
you
of
know.
plants are you looking for? Callie Homestead Will Pooh Bear says, this year I'm doing this. I wanted to do it each time you guys taught the class, and I was ready. This
Yes.
year I'm gonna be ready.
Come
Come
on,
on,
Callie
sister. Come on, you could
Homestead.
do this.
Yes.
You look, you got everything else. You talking about you you got chickens. You talking about getting some goats.
You
I'm
about to
listening to you.
have a land of milk and honey.
She right, literally. She talking about having pigs. You hey, you
Wow.
might as well have some bees.
Yes, that's what I'm talking
You
about.
know,
Now, Motivated to Homestead, you cannot get certified from our class. We just teach you the knowledge that will allow you to take your certification test
right?
where you are and pass.
We're kind of
So
like
if you think of it like this, for example, you take a certification course. Let's say you want to be a health coach. You take the course. They just teach you the information. You got to go somewhere else and take the test.
right,
Or like real estate.
or like your driver's license.
Yeah.
You got to go learn all the rules and laws and
Like
regulations.
you can learn how to drive with your parents at your house, but then you got to go
To
somewhere
be
to
legal.
take the
Right.
test.
Let's see. Are you all going to go back to what was that? Going back to honey. I'll never sell honey again. Ever. Ever.
There's so much work. Well, for me, this is why I don't really want to do it. It's so much work, so much sweat and stings that go into it. And I've had somebody who didn't want to pay the price that I thought my honey was worth. And I don't want to have that conversation. Like all these bee stings I done went through, and
Right.
you complaining about no.
And not only that, this is why I changed that. Number one, when we were depleted, and then when the 2020 hit and the mess happened,
That
okay,
too.
that was one. But that actually, I'm glad it kind of happened because you know what it did for me? What it did for me was let me know instead of keep giving people honey, if I teach people how to get their own honey, and then they teach people how to get their own honey, that's greater than anything I can sell you. So me teaching you how to keep bees is way more valuable to you, your family, and your generations to come, more valuable than me selling you a jar of this delicious, now all natural, raw, unfiltered honey. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's why I said I'll never sell it again. Is just because I would rather teach you how to get your own. That's pretty much the real reason. Okay. There was another question I missed.
Samuel had a question about
I don't
do we give a supply list?
hold on. Laura, I don't sell comfrey.
Um, Samuel, we provide a supply list during the class. not because you don't need to be prepared before you get in the class. Now, if you want to know like about how much money you'll need to invest in beekeeping, like we can give you like what how much a box setup is something like
I think it's
about
yeah.
199 for a, everything you need to get started. But then we give you all the little tools and the different things. We give you a list of all that stuff during the class so that you know what you need eventually, but you don't have to have all that stuff. I wouldn't even recommend having all that stuff at the beginning.
Oh,
Just come on in and learn and make sure this is something you want to do.
and I see. Okay, do I spend money on the guaranteed frames, or are there specific ones y'all use for internal frames? I just use plain. I don't know what a guaranteed frame is. I just use
Yeah, I don't
plain
either.
old pine wooden frames. So I'm not quite sure which ones you're talking about. Okay,
Um,
guaranteed frames. Nothing in that hive is guaranteed. I promise you that. That's
um,
right. Triple threat. Teach a man to fish. No, that's freckled and frugal. Teach a man to fish. That's right.
mhm.
Okay, Ava. Are there dangers in the bees you use? My mother suffered a heart attack from
No, an
Africanized
attack from
an
Africanized
attack by
bees.
Africanized bees. Are there dangers in the bees that you use? I, I don't quite understand the question.
I think I know what she's saying.
Please
So listen, when
clarify
you
that.
when you get your bees from, you order them from a local beekeeping supply, those are typically going to be Italian bees. Now, if your mom got attacked by Africanized bees, that's probably very rare. She just may have gotten attacked. Maybe she approached the hive or something happened, and she started getting stung. Once one bee stings you, it sends
Pheromones.
signs to the other one. So something could have happened. That's very rare. If you've got Africanized bees in your area, like talk to your local beekeeping associations. They can tell you whether or not you've got those, and you probably don't though.
And here's the thing, why that always rubs me the wrong way when we call them Africanized bees. I understand the rhetoric that's been spread around and passed around and dubbing certain bees a certain thing, and it's totally false. When when your honeybees become aggressive,
Hmm.
the media has made it so every aggressive beehive are considered Africanized bees. I don't like calling them that because that's false. That does not make them Africanized.
Yeah,
That does not mean
that's rare.
their DNA has anything to do with
Right.
hybrids from Africa. Absolutely not. If your queen dies for any reason, this gentle hive that I can walk around and do cartwheels around, this hive right here will attack anything that walks by
Hmm.
because they're kind of PO'd that their queen is dead. So they don't know what to do because that queen tells them everything to do, to clean up, to go find food, go find nectar. So if your hive has a problem, if your hive has an infestation of
Hmm.
some sort, that will
Hmm.
set them
Or they
off.
could have been getting attacked by some other bees. The only thing I would say to be concerned about is if you're allergic, like you have confirmed beforehand that you're allergic, then of course that's something to think about. That's something dangerous, but
Right.
not bees in general. Like they don't just, you see, we're sitting right by them. They're going in and out. Unless we go and start digging through the inside of that hive, they are not going to even think about
There,
us.
we've been walking around them before this camera even came on. So here's another thing too. That's going to be part of our class, which is bee identification,
Hmm.
meaning your mom. How did you know there was an
It could have
Africanized
been
bee?
wasp.
Could have been
A
wasp.
lot of
No,
people think wasps are
no.
bees,
9 times no.
or those other ones,
Yellow
yellow
jackets.
jackets.
Everybody think yellow jackets are honeybees because they look a little similar. But once you start keeping honeybees, you will realize there is nothing even remotely close to these two little creatures. They're in the same family, they look nothing alike. It'll be the same as if you're a pet owner. You know the difference. Even if you have goldfish, you know that this one goldfish has two little black scales on the left hand side by the dorsal fin. Nobody else knows that. They think they all look alike. They're just goldfish. But to you, once you know and you're around them all the time, you know the difference. You might have two Cocker Spaniel dogs. They both look alike to me, but you know one has a white streak on this side behind the ear. Your bees are exactly the same. Once you start keeping honeybees and you're around them and you're maintaining your hives on a regular basis, what you start to realize is they look nothing like a wasp and they look nothing like a yellow jacket.
Yeah. And you would be amazed how many people
Yeah.
confuse every other thing besides a honeybee.
Yeah. So
So,
let's see. Say they will. Oh, let me see. Okay, K Sale says crossbreeding is what she's worried about because you cannot control crossbreeding. You
oh
can't
yeah,
control
no.
that. That's something that you have no control over who that queen mates with or who the new queen mates
Yeah.
with. You can't control
But
that.
honestly, though, those bees will produce the best and most honey for you. So it's not that they're the worst things to get. The thing is, you need your equipment, your bee suit, your protection. Like when you're handling those kind of bees, it doesn't mean uh ban them,
Right.
because honestly, some of the most aggressive bees we've ever had have
Work
produced some of the best
528.
honey we've ever had. And because they're aggressive, they know how to take care of themselves, they know how to defend their hives, they keep the pests out, everything. They are like the bomb, with the exception of they get mad easier.
Right. Right. They're a little temperamental, but those are the hives that last the longest because they're the strongest.
Yeah.
The stronger your hive is, they can be a little, you know, that's easy to set off. So that's not always a bad thing. Now the words again, Africanized bees, let's just leave that out of our vocabulary for the simple fact that that's so rare, and any bee that's aggressive, everybody start calling them
Oh
Africanized bees,
wow.
and
Yeah,
it's
she said they were in Belize. Okay.
oh, that's a different
Okay.
ball game. I thought you was
Yeah.
talking about here. Oh, maybe, yeah, okay,
But
okay,
even still,
yeah,
they
but
produce the best honey.
yeah, but
But yeah,
yeah,
I
that's
wouldn't be wanting
yeah,
to
in
get down.
Belize probably,
But
okay.
yeah, yeah.
As a former pest control agent, I've come across some very aggressive hives hybrids over the years. Those killer horners people were talking about have been here for years. I used to, man, amen, amen, amen. I try to tell people in our beekeeping class that the so-called, which I hate this word, I hate people that play with words, murder hornets. They've been around since I was a child. And they said like they just landed in a spaceship from outer space and now they're killing people. Bogus. Listen, where are they now? The media doesn't have anything. When the media doesn't have anything to talk about, they make things up. All you got to do is say, this is a big hornet. How can we make this even scarier than what it looks? Put murder in front of it. The media, what do they want to do when they want you to be afraid of something? They put the word Africanized in front of it. And I think that's rhetoric and is nonsensical, and it just plays with words, and it plays on people's fear and make them think something that does not exist. Okay? So let me see.
Samuel had a question. I didn't mean that the bees keep all insects away. I meant inside the hive they keep pests away.
Right.
So not all insects. They, in
Look,
fact, look, they go, oh, full
she's
of
so
pollen.
she's so heavy with pollen, she
Oh,
landed on me. Oh, I wish I would
she
have got her.
she
Look, she
needs some
landed on the
help.
ground.
She needs some help. I want to go pick her
I
up
do
and
too.
help
I do
her.
too. Let me see. She is loaded with pollen.
But yes,
Come on, baby.
I don't know. For me, keeping bees has been one of the most exciting
Look, I gave her a boost.
things. Yeah, there she. Oh, they ain't gonna be able to see her though.
You're going the wrong way, baby.
She's still like, I'm too. Oh,
No,
she
she
made
coming
it.
down. She about to
She
land.
made
No,
it.
she right here. She
Oh.
just landed on the RV. Long as she could get off the ground, she was jumping because she had a teaspoon of pollen on each leg.
But it's so much to learn from beekeeping. How they do things is just absolutely amazing. You can't control them. They know what they're doing, and all you should be doing is creating the conditions that align with what they're trying to do. But they gonna do what they want to do. They're gonna keep things how they want to keep things, and all you need to do is kind of get out of their way and just help them when you need to help them, and leave them alone when you need to leave them alone.
Okay, let me see. Let me see. Please explain the male versus female bee. I thought all worker bees. We're going to explain that in the
Yeah.
class. That's why we're introducing the class. All of that stuff that you want to learn, that's
Yeah.
for the class.
In fact, that's some of the first things we teach,
Exactly.
because you need to be able to identify the queen, you need to be able to identify the workers, and you need to know what drones look like and not be confusing them for other bees.
Right. So
So
that's
yeah,
going to
we
be
teach you all those
the bee
things.
identification. That's all part of
We
it.
teach you about reproduction so you know what's happening, what
Anatomy.
to look for, all of that.
Say. Okay. I saw one up here somewhere. Thank you, E2. Thank you. What is your take on a flow hive? I think I think it's a freaking gimmick. I think it's a gimmick, and I'm gonna tell you why. It ain't that I think it's a gimmick. I know it's a gimmick. We've been keeping bees for over 13 years, and I'm gonna tell you why I know it's a gimmick. Because there is no freaking way that you do not have to go inside of this
Well,
hive.
well, wait. I've watched a video of a lady who had a flow hive and talked about the maintenance of it. Because the whole thing is, you think you don't have to maintain it. You just think you just go and turn a thing and get some honey. But she talked about how it's more difficult to do the maintenance stuff that you're going to have to do. I don't care what kind of hive you got in the flow hive. So it's not just a little turnkey thing.
You just go get some honey when you feel like it.
Yeah,
Nah.
you got to maintain the brood box, and you can only use their equipment in order for it to work for you.
And the equipment costs a fortune.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got
We
tons.
complaining about the couple $100
Right.
for a regular setup. It's like $1,200 or $1,400 for a flow hive setup, and that's not all the stuff you're gonna need.
Right, and if you go price the flow hive parts, every time this hive grows, you have to add on a box, and every box takes anywhere from 8 to 10 frames. So each one of those frames from a flow hive costs a fortune. For me, it costs $1.25 for me to hurry up, staple a little wooden frame together, put some foundation in it, and put it in this hive. So it'll cost me a little over $10 to get a whole new, see this white part, to get a whole new box up and running. But for you, for a flow hive, it'll cost you near a fortune.
But
And
I mean, if put it like this, I wouldn't recommend starting out with that as a beginner. Learn how to do it the regular way, and then if you decide you want to invest in that, then go for it.
right, so
Gary says the honey that they get honey in Chicago, but ours look darker and richer. But the thing about it is, every batch is different. Some batches are light and clear, some are dark, almost have like a berry color to them. It just depends. It just depends on the plants that they got the nectar from, really. So yeah.
oh, that's what I was asking about, the flow frames versus traditional. Okay, because something was worded wrong, spell check or something. I didn't know what you was talking about. But that's, look, when you look around, you see these. You don't see flow hives everywhere. Those are a gimmick, like the sham wow or something. It's like one of those as seen on TV gimmicks that you'll see in big lots one day, you know, in alleys or something.
Yeah, it's just very it just makes it seem like beekeeping is that simple when really it's not. You're not going to get any honey if you just leave your hives to do whatever.
Now, Sheila, you just made a perfect sense. It says the flow hive look like it'll harm the bees when you're trying to harvest. This is what it'll do. You cannot control the queen and where she want to lay. When you restrict that queen of where she wants to lay, if you have a very productive queen and she needs to lay her eggs, if you restrict her from laying her eggs, you know what? She'll tell her whole hive, let's get the hell out of here. So you'll come out in the morning and all of your bees will be gone because you restricted her. Now you have two boxes on top of this hive that's empty that you are hoping they fill with honey. But she's not trying to make honey, she's trying to make more
Yeah. You can't
worker
make them
bees.
do
You
anything.
can't make them do that. You need to give her is if she feel like going up in the honey frames, and we have that, we've had that a lot. If she feel like going to lay eggs up in the honey frames, you got to let her do that. Or she will decide to leave and take all the honey, and you'll be stuck with a big empty box.
Yeah.
Okay?
Thank you, Jones Truth. Can the bees reject the queen? What happens then? So what you might be thinking about is what happens when you buy a package. Because a package of bees is just a bunch of random bees, and then they put a queen with that batch of bees and they ship them out to you. So there's a possibility that those bees might reject the queen. But in nature, the queen is the one laying the eggs.
Right.
So they're not going to reject her. What can happen is she can run out of eggs and then they decide they're going to make a new queen.
Like, you
Um
got to go.
yeah. But it's not even a you gotta go. It's just a part of their how they continue the process of keeping the bees coming into the hive. So yeah, that's something that's mostly
Right.
associated with packages.
Okay, Harmony Home Garden and Garden says, do you make your hive boxes or purchase them at this point in your beekeeping journey? I do both. In an emergency, I'll build one in a heartbeat, depending on how much time I have and the price of the boxes and the price of lumber. I'll build a box in a heartbeat. You want to know something I always do? I always build frames out of anything. I'm good at that. And in a
Yeah.
heartbeat,
But
uh,
I wouldn't recommend it in the
I
beginning
wouldn't recommend it really at all.
because the box size, your bees can reject your box. If
Right.
it's the wrong size, the wrong width, or whatever they don't
Wrong
like about your
dimensions.
box, they will dip out. They are very particular.
I'm talking about in a pinch, in an emergency. I got a lot of homemade frames and a lot of homemade boxes that
But
I've built
that's after
myself.
learning
Right.
the specifics of what they need.
Okay. Let me see. Thank you so much. What is I can't pronounce your name. I can't even see it from here. Okay, Live Farmer, in a big strong enough colony, anything comes near their hives is is in for a reckoning. They don't have the numbers once they do enter the hive. Oh, I can't even hardly see this. I can't see that, my friend. I'm sorry. I don't got my glasses on me, and that was a lot of words.
Moving like bee queens.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, someone may already have asked this, but is it true that bees in some northern states have found? Oh, I'm really not going to
I
touch on.
have listen, there are
Just don't.
but I was just gonna say
Yeah.
there are viruses. There's lots of viruses bees can
No,
have
no,
or get.
no,
But
no, honey. They're talking about the conspiracy theory thing
oh,
right now. I'm not going to touch on that subject because that's bogus. Can you can beekeeping be done in Toledo, Ohio? Not only can it be done in Ohio, but we have a friend, a family member right here in the Greenhouse Lounge. Her name is
game nerd mom.
Game Nerd Mom, our little sister in Toledo, Ohio, from our home state, basically lived around the corner from where we used to live, keep bees right to this very day. And
Yeah.
I'm going to release a video coming soon showing you her harvest her own honey.
What was the name of that garden center we ended up going
That's the
to?
that's the video I'm going to release. I never released it.
Oh, Okay.
Okay, so we're going to be releasing that video, I guess today or tonight, just for that. You got to do it, honey.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, I
get
do.
out of here. Get out of here. I got this. I'm going to wrap this up too, as well as we've been in here 50 minutes, and we're here to let you know that the beekeeping class will be when.
Wednesday, March 8th, 7 p.m. via Zoom. You need to register. Go to our website to register so that you can get all the information that you need. If you have questions, email me at ladyled73 at gmail.com. I'm going to put it in the chat.
Okay. So, any other questions? And everybody seemed to have a lot of good, important questions. Please join us on our website and join us for the class. And not only will you learn a lot, you will gain a lot. And most of all of your garden will be pollinated, and you will actually have your own endless supply of raw, untreated, unfiltered honey. Oh, not fake. So always ask yourself, is your honey fake? I think I can answer that. Probably yes. All right. We're going to get on out of here because we got a business meeting we got to handle. Everybody have a wonderful day. If you have any questions about the class or about beekeeping in general, please put it in the comment section below and we'll make sure we'll answer it. Okay. Laird Farmer 73, we love you guys and we're out. Thank you. Thank everybody for joining us today.